In 1998, Christopher Nolan made his first feature by the name of Following. With almost no budget, Nolan, his wife Emma Thomas, and the lead actor Jeremy Theobald made this film by their own money. Till that time, Nolan was still working in corporate videos. So for the film, they used to shoot every Saturday. They did this thing for a whole year to complete the film.
I think what Following represents is kind of the peak of what I was able to do on my own or just with friends, just using our own resources and borrowing equipment and sort of using the things around us to make a film.
Now isn't it fascinating to hear such a thing from a director like Christopher Nolan, who has known to create black holes, bomb hospitals and whatnot. It is interesting to think that how Christopher Nolan creates his career out of a no-budget film, how he made it, and for an aspiring director, what significance does a no-budget feature film hold?
We'd have a blonde, in a case, whatever. And we'd come up and we'd light the whole set with 3 or 4 lights and do it very quickly.
While making a no-budget feature film, the most interesting and challenging aspect of it is the limitations that one faces. So whatever one do is to tell the story effectively despite the technical and budgetary limitations. And Christopher Nolan also did talk about those limitations. In Following, you will notice that characters often stands in front of windows because for the most part, Nolan filmed without professional lighting equipment, largely employing available light to avoid matching the temperature of the cheap lights to the natural light. Also for this same reason, he used 16mm black and white film. He starts the film with voiceover and 2 people sitting and talking because he knew that in this controlled environment they could get a good sound. Also this is the only scene in the film which he shot on the dolly, as Nolan told that the film society has a big dolly and he shot this first scene in the film society. Nolan wanted to start the film with clear audio and visuals. He wanted the film to look controlled and completely made piece of filmmaking, cause the rest of the film is shot by the handheld camera which has shaky footages, so that it would look like it's deliberate. It was a choice, otherwise people would have seen it as a limitation.
And it actually worked pretty well. You would go to festivals with the film and the film would start and it would sound pretty good for the first couple of minutes. And then by the time people realize, just how cheap this film is and how bad it sounds, they're already into the story.
Also, story revolves around a loner because actors and extras are hard to secure. The non-linear structure of the film helped Nolan to cut those scenes which don't came out or didn't work out. He uses hammers as a weapon instead of guns because the correct replicas of guns are not easily available and it is easy and cheap to get hammer. Basically, while making a no-budget feature film, one should make it while keeping the limitations in mind.
So there are things like that where we try to identify what are the things that really betray the budget to the audience.
After completing the film, Nolan took it to film festivals where Following won several awards and was well received by the critics. Following's success afforded Nolan to make Memento, as he already had his screenplay ready, which actually became his breakthrough film. His brother Jonathan originally had written the story about a man who has anterograde amnesia, who uses notes and tattoos to hunt his wife's murderer. As Nolan always interested in the idea of an unreliable narrator, he found this story exciting and wrote his reverse screenplay to subjectively present the story. After listening to Nolan's screenplay, New Market Films gave him budget of $4.5 million. As the executive of New Market Films, Aaron Ryder said, "It was perhaps the most innovative script I had ever seen." New Market also distributed the film after it was rejected by studios who feared that it would not attract a wider audience. But because of positive word of mouth and screenings in 500 theaters, it earned $40 million.
Oh, I'm chasing this guy. No, he's chasing me.
You may have think that a little movie like Following, which is shot by a black and white 16mm film with a handheld camera, have nothing in common with Nolan's today's big budget films, but that's not the case. If you have watched Christopher Nolan's other famous films and then you watch Following, the first thing that you will notice is this. Yes, background score. Now compare it to his other films. As I told you that characters in Following often stands in front of the windows as he was relying on the available lights. You will see that Nolan still do this thing in his movies even though it's not necessary. Following starts with a voiceover of his character and images on it to complement what he is saying. You will see that Nolan used this technique frequently in his film to give information. Nolan also tells that when he and his friends were making Following, sometimes they used to take takes without rolling the camera just to get a good quality of sound. He said that he used this thing even in the movies like The Dark Knight. Another thing that Nolan carried from Following is that his characters in the movie discuss the philosophical implications of burgling someone. Maybe that's because Nolan's apartment in London got burgled, so he kinda wanted to explore the psychological implications of it. And you will see that this then become a common character trait in his movies. The thing here to understand is that Nolan never went to a film school. He learned filmmaking by himself. So it looks like while making Following, the things he learned he carried out with himself, and those things makes his unique identity as a filmmaker. This is the reason why I want aspiring directors to make at least one no budget feature film. Because when you try to make a full length feature film with extremely limited resources, you face so many limitations and problems at every step. So in order to tell your stories in the best way possible with those limitations, one has to be innovative, solution oriented and patient, which are the most important and needed qualities for a director. So I hope this video has brought some inspiration for you, and thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.